Hi everyone. It's the time of the year when it's the annual exercise for the weight of the budget, a ready list of wish list being drawn up by tax experts and the industry. And I'm here to talk about my wish list. When we talk about expectation from the budget, I think first I would like to talk about the expectation from the private equity and venture capital industry. The government has done a tremendously good job in marketing the gift city, and we have also seen a lot of fund managers moving their base from traditional jurisdictions like Singapore and Mauritius, and contemplating setting up their funds in the gift city. What would be useful is if the government actually comes out with a 3 or 4 year exemption for capital gains tax, just to give a fillip to the private equity industry and also to the gift city mid-shore jurisdiction. This has already been done for certain category of investors, for example, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and it would be good to see something similar even for gift city. There have been multiple representations which have been made to the government with respect to clarity on taxation of carried interest. Today, the industry is in a big limbo where, application of GST as well as characterization of carried interest as capital gain income versus business income is concerned. This budget would be a very suitable time for bringing in those amendments and providing clarity, considering the numerous representations that have already been made to the PMO, and also keeping in mind, how worldwide taxation of carried interest takes place, primarily as capital gain income. It would be good to bring that sort of a clarity. 2021 was the year of M&A. It has been the biggest year of mergers and acquisition that India and globally the world has seen thus far, which also means that the trend is going to continue for the next 2 or 3 years at least. And it would be good to bring about some clarity on certain types of deal structures. Um, there has been a talk of enabling Indian companies to list abroad, and we have seen this in a lot of press statements. There was also a promise that was made in the last year's budget, but we're yet to see the rules and regulations surrounding the same. So that would be a good for for the M&A for the M&A industry to see listing of Indian entities on overseas stock exchanges. We've also seen, there have been some issues on mergers and demergers. Currently, in a demerger scenario, there is no carry forward uh, of tax holiday for undertakings which are transferred by way of demerger. But you get the same tax holiday when the transfer is by way of a slum sale. It's probably an unintended lacuna in law which probably needs to be provided for. There has to be suitable clarity on applicability of Section 21. So Section 21 is basically a section where, in case of merger and acquisition transaction, there is a need to get a certificate or an NOC from the tax authorities allowing them to transfer the business. Now, this has become quite a bit of a bone of contention in many of the transactions and is usually a big negotiation point. Some clarity around applicability or rather non-applicability of Section 281, where fair value transfers are concerned, should be provided for, as well as for non-applicability in situations where there is a slum sale and there is not transfer of a specific asset. We've also seen, let's talk a little bit about digital economy. We've also seen that, there have been quite a few changes in the law with effect from 2016. I don't really expect that there is going to be a change again in the budget on the 1st of February with respect to digital taxes, considering, India has anyway given its position where at the inclusive framework at G20. It would be good, however, to have some clarity on, applicability of EL equalization levy in certain situations, because many times foreign companies are at a loss on whether they are required to pay equalization levy or not. Um, Taxation of crypto is again one point which needs to be dealt with. Uh, the bill for cryptocurrency is still pending, and we don't know when that is actually going to be made public or it is going to be passed. But manner of taxation of crypto, whether it should be business income, it should be regarded as speculative income or capital gain income, applicability, non-applicability of GST, that also needs to be clarified. Where e-commerce companies are concerned, I would expect, or I would wish for rather, that there is some clarity which is brought about with respect to applicability of Section 194, which requires for tax to be collected by the e-commerce operator. Now, this leads to sometimes impossible situations where the payment is not being passed through the e-commerce operator. And it would be good for clarification to come that the section would apply only in instances where the e-commerce operator is actually dealing with the cash and actually has knowledge and control over the transactions which are taking place on its platform. Um, in M&A transactions, we are also seeing issues in applicability of TCS by virtue of shares being regarded as goods. It would be good to clarify that TCS should not really apply on shares. There is already a clarification for listed shares, but a clarification even for unlisted shares would be good. We have been seeing, 2021 has again been a year where, mostly people have been working from home. Um, since an employee works from home, this could very technically result in creation of a permanent establishment exposure for a foreign entity that is employing the person in India. It would be good to come out with certain clarifications and guidelines with respect to situations where an employee's home could be regarded as a permanent establishment for a foreign entity, because in most of the situations the foreign entity would not really have control over the employee's residential premises. It would be primarily the employee who would be just using the residential premises for rendering his employment services. Last but not the least, on my wish list is, uh, clarity where tax litigation is concerned. We've seen the success and then the failure of the AR, which has now become the BAR. Some sort of clarity around the process of BAR, the manner in which it is going to function, given the constitution of the members of the BAR, and that would help foreign investment and provide some certainty to litigation. It would also be useful if the rulings can be given in a time-bound manner, which used to happen many years ago, but because of the load of rulings at the AR, those are not happening anymore. So that's in my wish list. Not really expecting, a lot of tax ops to come in or tax holidays to come in. I guess we've already moved to a low rate of tax of 15% and 25%, but some minor tweaks in the income tax law would really help, various industries and give them a fillip. Thank you so much.